Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway Flipside. My name is Mary,
My name is Luke.
and Gilgamesh is here too. So if you hear crash banging, which is it's potential, nope, we got past it.
Well, there's still
Yeah,
time.
that these are your hosts for today.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know, Gilgamesh is a cat. Whenever I turn the microphone on or plug the microphone in, that's when he decides to come in and start knocking stuff over. He is a saboteur, and I'm very mad with him right now.
He isn't really mad at him.
A little bit.
He is a joy, and I love him. So, how are you today?
Yes, I am. How are you?
A lot better than I have been. Probably because the sunshine is back and I don't feel as bad as I did a week ago. So
That's good. Yeah.
good. Yeah.
There are lots of comments on the podcast about how you were feeling, so we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Do you have any news or anything before we start the comments?
Yeah, I mean, not so much news.
Can I mention something?
You may mention something. Go on then.
I did probably the worst makeup I've ever done in my life on someone, on you, the other day.
Yes. So Mary is referencing a video that went out on my comics channel, and I made a collaboration between the comics channel and my main channel, talking about a recent obsession of mine, which is tracking down Golden Age Two-Face comics. Because there weren't any Absolute comics out this week, and if you subscribe to my comics channel, you know I primarily talk about the Absolute comics, because anytime I do anything else, nobody watches. And I'm a little sad to report that the same thing has happened with this Two-Face video. We put a lot of effort into it, actually. It may not look like it, but we definitely did. I started work on that at around, what was it? It was about 11 a.m. Was it 10 a.m.? Something like that?
Time is nothing but I don't know the
Let's
word.
just split the difference. It was 10:30 a.m. and I finished it 5 minutes before it was due to go live at 7 p.m. So, spent 8 or 9 hours on that. Um, and it's different to what I normally do. It's unscripted. It's about something a bit more, I don't know, but it's not a story, basically. I thought people might have fun with it. There is also a competition that I've announced in the video, so go watch that if you are interested in winning a signed copy of Two-Face Trial Separation. It has been signed by the writer Christian Ward, who I met at Forbidden Planet a couple of weeks ago. Very nice man. He was there to promote his Event Horizon comic, Event Horizon Inferno, but I just spoke to him for 5 minutes about Two-Face, and he told me some fun insights about the making of that comic. Apparently DC were reluctant to let him use Baby Doll. They were like, no, I don't know, we shouldn't really.
Is this in your video?
No, it's not. I'm talking about it here.
Oh, I didn't know if you took any video or anything while you were there.
No, I didn't. I was too busy talking to him. And the other thing as well, he had a different ending in mind. I'll just say it because he told me I could. So the series is about Harvey Dent manages to suppress Two-Face, but he continues being Two-Face. So he's basically like, good Harvey is steering Two-Face and trying to improve the criminal world in Gotham. So he sets up like a criminal court where criminals can bring their grievances to him, and he will resolve them fairly to try and stop gang wars. It's all in an attempt to become a legitimate lawyer again. Well, the original ending would have been that Harvey Dent was allowed to become a legitimate lawyer again, but Two-Face would break free and take over and basically corrupt the good legal system. We'll put it that way. But that is not what happened in the book. You'll have to read the book to find out what happens. But yeah, if you want to win a copy, go over to the video. I've timestamped the competition section if that's all you're interested in, and go and enter multiple times, because I've got 4 copies available to give away. You can enter by leaving comments on any of the videos using the specified hashtag, and the winner will be announced on the 23rd of May, or the 4 winners, I should say, will be announced on the 23rd of May.
Cute.
And yeah, if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. Come on, we put a lot of effort in. Otherwise, I'll be very, very sad.
I didn't put as much effort in as I would have liked to.
Do you know what? I actually like how that wig came out, and the eyebrow. The eyebrow is just great.
I now know because my niece does cosplay. Well, a few of my nieces do cosplay.
Yeah.
But the one here in England, I asked her about like hairspray and stuff like that. Um, and after I asked her, I looked heavily into wigs for about 15 minutes. And now I know if I ever want to do another one, Amazon's probably not the place to get it.
And the funny thing was, so she got the Mary bought the black and white wig, but the hair color was on the wrong side. So white was on the right and black was on the left, but it needs to be the other way around. So we just flipped it around, and then Mary cut the hair to make it look at least passable. But I think it was a good result.
It was funny, let's say that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be funny.
All right, shall we get to some comments?
Yeah, so these are the comments on the last episode of Totally Schway, which was about the darkest moments of Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the comments in latest order first,
Yep.
just because it's easier for me to scroll.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just double check that YouTube doesn't let you do oldest. No, it does not.
Can I just start and
Yeah.
ask some people, am I the only one around here that likes stationery? I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was going to ask the people on the podcast, do you guys like collecting pins? Because I collect pins and I have them so I have them labeled and put in a specific order, and it's probably one of the parts of my life that is like the most organized.
Mm.
And yeah, I just want to know if you guys do something like that, or if it is stationery. What kind of stationery do you like? My favorite shop to buy stationery is uh, the Stationer. She's a really great person on TikTok. I don't know her personally, but I love her website because she kind of curates a really great um amount of stuff.
Nobody tell Ryman that Mary's been cheating on them with TikTok lady.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the comments then. So the first one is Michael Dolan, who says, "Ahoy, Mary and Luke. Perhaps I'm a curmudgeon, but despite the early good signs that the Clayface film will follow in the Beatas's mould, apologies for the character, I've learned to avoid optimism about these sorts of things. I guess it hinges on whether Warner Brothers will be acknowledged, if not outright involved. Bitter experience has taught that if you're going to make a film about a character best known for their relationship to a more famous character, but that more famous character isn't allowed to be used or even mentioned for legal reasons, even tangentially, then you've made your job exceptionally more difficult. Look at Catwoman, Elektra, Madam Web, Morbius, Steel, and even the 80s Supergirl to a certain extent. Or better yet, don't look at them. At least not without Tom Servo and Crow T Robot by your side. Well, I have hopes because James Gunn is an experienced. He's made horror films before, produced horror films
I think
like
this is going to
Brightburn.
be like this. Sorry I interrupted you, but
Yeah,
I think this is going to be on par with some of the more infamous Hammer horrors.
yeah, I think so too, and I think the fact that I think this is just my opinion based on what I've seen and read. I think they are going to obviously make it clear that it's in Gotham, but they're
Mhm.
going to avoid using Batman at all. I doubt he'll even be mentioned, and just kind of treat it as like as Michael said, a tangential thing.
Because these characters that, whether they came from Batman or came from another place, but they're mainly known for Batman,
Mhm.
they deserve to have their own story. And in this year of 2026, that's the right year, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It is amazing that we have a Clayface movie coming out.
Yeah. And I think the mistake that earlier films have made is that they try to make the main character be heroic. What I want to see in this Clayface movie is okay, you sympathize with him, you empathize with him, but he is a monster. And by the end of it, you're like, oh my God, he's terrible. Like they did in the first Joker movie. I really enjoyed the
The
first Joker
struggle,
movie.
like you saw that struggle,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just a struggle in terms of like, what does this character want? It's how is this character feeling at any moment in this movie? I think the Joker did a brilliant job of that.
Yeah.
Um, and he's not a hero.
No.
And you saw that. It was wonderful. And I think what's great about Clayface is different journey
Hmm.
because it starts out on the heroic side of things, but obviously is not a hero.
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah, and I think it's a very, I hate using this adjective, but I use it so much and it's interesting. I think it's a very interesting
Use
choice.
a lot.
Yeah, I know. The reason I don't like it is because I can't think of anything better to say. Intriguing, perhaps. But I think it's a very interesting choice to tie his assault to the loss of his face, not the loss of his humanity.
Mm.
It's got a very different meaning because in Batman the animated series, his face was lost due to an accident, and he descended into addiction and crime, and was assaulted and lost his humanity completely, and then that's what spurred him into taking revenge. But here, I get the sense that it's pride potentially, maybe vanity a little bit, that might end up with him getting into conflict with those gangsters who cut up his face, and from there he tries to get revenge and takes the chemical and becomes a monster.
I am looking forward to the music because I have a feeling from like the bits and pieces that I've seen and then James Gunn's other work
Mm.
that the music is going to be just as important as some of the supporting characters.
If they don't do an homage to Shirley Walker's Clayface theme from Batman the Animated Series, I think that's a very big missed opportunity because she was Emmy Award nominated for Feet of Clay's soundtrack. I remember reading an interview with her where she talked about how difficult it was to come up with the music for that, but she was so proud of it in the end. Um, and so much in the same way that they've reused the John Williams Superman theme or used elements of it for the new Superman theme, I would like them to do the same with Shirley Walker's music for Clayface and Batman when he turns up. If they don't use the Mask of the Phantasm soundtrack, then they're crazy. Anyway, that was a massive detour that we spent a couple of minutes talking about. I need to continue reading this comment, otherwise we're going to be here all day.
Mm-hmm.
So, continuing Michael's comment, how dark it is at the moment, indeed. I read somewhere someone say recently that I look at the news every day and I struggle to articulate my feelings about it in a way that cannot be interpreted as inciting treason or violence.
Truth.
Yes. Yes. The Thanagarian general was named Hro Talak, an anagram of Qatar Hall. Yes, thank you. I knew someone would correct me on that because I couldn't remember his name exactly. I don't think about the Roman Empire that much either. The Romulan Empire, maybe. Certainly the Klingon, Sith, and Sontaran empires, but not the Roman one. Admittedly, the past year has had me thinking a significantly larger about Julius Caesar's retirement party and the Praetorian Guard showing Caligula that super special secret shortcut under the palace. Can't imagine why. Yes. Articulating thoughts about current events, perhaps.
Currently, I at the end of my grandfather's life, he was in an assisted living place because he had had a few strokes and he had COPD and he couldn't live by himself. And I only went and visited a few times, um, and the people there were a hoot and a holler. They were great. The people that were living there. But I will say this: I am reminded of them
Mm.
because they were really funny. Like humor, saves us all sometimes. And with the current political shit going on right now, I am um very sure that there is a person from my homeland country that needs to be in one of those places.
Hmm.
Not because people give up on them because that's not what assisted living is. Assisted living is when you actually need help. And it seems like that is what that particular person needs.
I mean, you could argue that that is what his current role is giving him. Put it that way.
True.
But anyway, let's continue with the comment. So Michael says, I don't really have much to add to your observations, but while Mary's choices of dark moments are more dark in the sense of shockingly tragic during the week leading up to this episode, I was thinking of dark moments more in the line of Luke's choices of Dr. Destiny's transformation and deadly vengeance upon his wife, as in disturbing moments that made me say, holy smeg, that's frelled up. For me, the darkest moments from JLAS/JLU specifically are both parts of Justice League storyline and its continuing after effects. The impaired Joker and other listless, vacant-eyed Bat villains in Mirrorverse Arkham with tiny heat vision lobotomy scars on their foreheads, even Scarface. And the Question deciding to cross the line of no return and attempting to murder Luthor himself to save Superman from having to do it in their prime timeline. I don't remember that you said it, but excuse me. I don't remember that you said it would be JLAS/JLU only, and spent the previous week thinking of my top 5 darkest moments for the DCAU in general, presented in more mostly chronological order. Don't know why I can't read very well today. Must be tired.
Yeah, cats keep waking us up at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Anyway, continuing Michael's picks. So he has chosen Batman the Animated Series Deep Freeze. He wanted immortality. He got it. The scene of Grant Walker trapped at the bottom of an iceberg, staring out to the empty, uncaring ocean depths as his muffled scream echo through the icy waters is especially chilling. Pardon. While the later tie-in comics deal with his escape, as far as the show is concerned, he's still down there all alone in lightless, frozen silence, even in the era of Terry McGinnis and beyond, still screaming. Superman the Animated Series Legacy. Superman drops a beaten Darkseid down into the streets of Apocalypse, telling the stunned peasants that they can finally be free. But rather than rising up as a rebellious mob, the serfs reverently, even lovingly, carry their brutal tyrant away to have his wounds healed. While Darkseid gloats, Superman almost despairs that Darkseid has so completely broken his subjects spiritually that they can no longer recognize a way of life other than being oppressed and enslaved, not even as an abstract concept, not just tragic but bleak. The new Batman adventures, Growing Pains. Annie sacrifices her all too brief life to save Robin, choosing to be reabsorbed into Clayface and end her existence as a unique individual rather than spend it running from that fate, and continuing to endanger the only friend she's ever encountered. Annie has only been alive as a distinct consciousness for a handful of days at most, and never experienced kindness until what must have been only her final hour or so, then effectively dies in a process that looks horrifyingly like drowning. I agree with Sasha of Casually Comics, who recently called her the saddest Clayface. Yes.
Yeah.
Another New Batman Adventures episode, Chemistry. Susan and the rest of Poison Ivy's plant-based seducers and seductresses may not have been strictly human, but they weren't mindless automatons either. They clearly possess self-awareness and independent thought. They couldn't have performed their intended functions otherwise. Regardless of their synthetic origins, they're still thinking, feeling, living beings. So the climax of the episode where Robin casually hoses them down with Weed Killer and they scream in pain and fear as they dissolve into green sludge, and Batman leaves Susan to drown, is far more appalling to me than the creators may have intended. Oh, no, I'm certain they intended this to be very upsetting, talking to Stan Berkowitz about it. It's okay, they weren't real people, but they were real as Blade Runner's replicants, and no, melting them into spinach smoothies doesn't feel okay to me.
Ooh, I want a smoothie now.
Batman Beyond Out of the Past. The revelation that Ra's al Ghul has spent the entire episode wearing Talia's body like an off-the-rack suit is not just disquieting, but heartbreaking. Ra's has always treated his daughter as a tool or a means to an end, and this is just the ultimate endpoint of that manipulative relationship. Ra's was obsessed with making Bruce his successor and heir, seeing Talia only as the weapon to ensnare him, never once considering that she was more than capable of being that heir herself. Yet all the while, Talia remained fiercely devoted to her father, and in return for a lifetime of loyalty, Ra's effectively killed her, stealing her very identity and callously casting her into his wake as yet another obstacle to slow down the relentless pursuit of the Reaper and delay his inevitable end. After all that darkness, I have some good news in that medical update department. Fantastic, let's hear it. At my last visit a couple of weeks ago, my eye doctor said that the macular edema has stayed stable since previous month's injections, and these treatments can be spaced back out to every 8 weeks.
That's good.
He spoke optimistically about improving and restoring my vision, and I've made an appointment to get my cataracts assessed for surgery in July. Excellent.
That's nice. Awesome.
Also, he saw my, I can't even say this, knee endocrinologist yesterday. I think I said that right, endocrinologist.
Yeah, it's endocrinologist.
And she fitted me with a Dexcom continuous glucose sensor.
Hey,
Good.
welcome to the family.
She seems very on top of things and clear about what needs to be done, so I'm confident that this is another area where things are improving. Glad to hear it.
I've been on Dexcom for I think 3 years now. Before that I was on Libra, but yeah, I'm a Dexcom gal.
And finally, my other channel recommendation for this week is keeping with the theme of dark moments. It's The Tape Library, where anonymous narrator explores paranormal incidents, ghosts and hauntings, UFOs and alien encounters, cryptids, cures, and less easily categorized unexplained phenomena. This format is a major part of the appeal as it seeks to replicate the nostalgic, almost cozy feel of the old wave of shows popularizing supernatural investigations of the 70s and 80s, like Leonard Nimoy's In Search of and Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World. Episodes begin with the clatter and hum of a VHS cassette being loaded and starting to play, with a static-filled tracking screen stabilizing into the actual program. The hiss and crackle of old analog magnetic tape audio underlies the narration by a calm, measured, strangely soothing British voice, often over stock footage of vintage reel-to-reel tape recorders quietly spinning. The subject matter ranges from famous incidents like the Amityville house haunting and the Rendlesham forest UFO encounter to more obscure accounts like the recent episodes detailing a case of Esther Fox, a young woman in 1878 Nova Scotia, plagued by violent poltergeist activity, and Bedfordshire's Bluebale Wood, home to ritualistic animal mutilation, strange lights in the sky, sightings of black shuck, and a winged humanoid that predates the first known appearance of West Virginia's Mothman. The nameless unseen host is a practitioner of what's called open-minded skepticism, matter-of-factly relaying these stories of the high strangeness and the unexplained, but doesn't indulge in excessive credulity or wild speculation, and isn't afraid to point out rational explanations when they're obvious. They have a second channel, Night Drive Paranormal, where they read allegedly true stories of encounters with the unknown sent in by viewers. The creepy and spooky subject matter makes a fascinating contrast with the relaxed and oddly comforting sound of the narrator's voice, and they even describe the program as terrifying paranormal stories to fall asleep to. And with that, pleasant dreams, and I'll see you for next week in Estas's In Blackest Night. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Right, next we have Screenwipers comments, who says, I'm glad Mary's feeling better. Also, I like Mary's voice. I don't find it annoying at all. Stop being so harsh on yourself, Mary!
Well, let me tell you where this comes from. This stems from a long history of people telling me my voice was not great. First, it was my cousin, which she's never gonna listen to this, but
She
yeah.
might do.
Well, you never know. If she does, she'll know. She'll be one of the first people to be like, "Yeah, that was me." She used to tell me I was speaking like a baby, and I tried so freaking hard to change my voice. Like I would go around talking like this. Okay, everybody, let's try to not have a high pitched voice. And people I remember going to school like that because I knew she was gonna be at home afterwards, like, trying to prepare to go home to talk, and everybody thought I was sick. And then, when I was working at a video game, place that I'm not gonna name which one it was, but it was a video game place, and, here in England. And then I left to go to a different job, and I was doing, like, YouTube videos of, like, days of my life and stuff like that, and a person that was from that, video game place, said he hated my voice and I should commit suicide. Do you remember that?
He didn't say you should. He said your voice made him want to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that is the sign of a very weak, pathetic, insecure little cretin who was envious of you actually stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that he probably would have loved to have done.
Yeah.
There are lots of people like that today. Someone was being very rude to Julia Rowell actually in my community section today. And
Would they be
I know. Well, I think is I countered some of his arguments. I mean, he's arguing about comic books as well.
you know, but
Countered some of his arguments.
Julia, of all
I
people?
know,
Why
I
would
know.
you
Well,
Mm.
Julia was saying that they wanted to see more black and queer characters with their own ongoing series.
So do I.
Yeah, and this guy was like, "Oh, it's because audiences don't buy them. Go woke, go broke." That kind of bullshit.
They say it as if it's an insult.
Yeah, yeah. And I said to him, well, actually, the Absolute books are very progressive.
Hmm.
Absolute Green Lantern stars a black lesbian,
We love it.
and it's selling very well. Okay, not as well as Absolute Batman, but it outsells all of the other traditional books.
We love.
So you may want to reconsider that. And then his retort was something along the lines of, well, I'm talking about graphic novel sales, and they're the only ones that count. Say, well, yeah, again, look at last year's sales charts. Absolute books fill out the top 10. So, maybe reconsider your position. He was then very rude to me, and,
Ban.
he's gone. He's gone.
No, but I joke around about my voice and everything, but I don't know who it was, but it was on this podcast that somebody said that I sounded not I didn't sound exactly like her, but I was kind of in um that wavelength of Jennifer Tilly.
I believe it was Screen Wiper that said
Oh,
that.
really? And I have you have no idea how not jealous I am of that. As in, like, I am so happy that somebody said that because it kind of changed. I know I joke around about it, but I feel so much more at ease with my voice because I love Jennifer Tilly. It's the only reason I would watch another Chucky movie.
I'm going to continue
Cool.
Screen Wiper's
Yeah.
comment. Sorry, I didn't mean to be like dismissing you or
That's
anything.
okay.
Just I can feel my voice starting to go. So Screen Wiper said, the bird people wanting to blow up Earth to make an interstellar travel route is very Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, isn't it? Absolutely. Even those closest to you can betray you. I know that one. Yes, indeed. Regarding when a bunch of kids die in an atrocity or tragedy and someone says one of them could have grown up to cure cancer or something, that's true, but there's an equally true flip side that one of them could have grown up to be a serial killer,
That
mass
is
murderer,
true.
terrorist, or the next Hitler or something. Not saying these atrocities and tragedies are good, of course, just saying people aren't always good and we often don't know it's
Exactly.
going to turn out how. Regarding Grundy, I'm sure every pet owner can sympathise with that story once they've had to put down a beloved animal.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, Luke's way behind on The Boys, but what about Invincible? Season 4 just finished and it was epic. I haven't watched Season 3 yet. It's on my list of things to do, but I've just got so many other things coming up.
I am so I don't watch Invincible or The
No.
Boys, but I'll tell you this about the time frame that I have to watch something. I am going to watch Monarch: Legacy of Monsters at the end of May. And I have it set out. Like I have scheduled a time to watch it. That's how I'm having to do things nowadays.
Yeah, I'm traveling abroad in a couple of months, and maybe I'll try and catch up either on the flight or in my hotel room when I've got nothing else to do, if I've got nothing else to do. Right, next we have, oh no, it's Screen Wipers chicken news. So, Thursday the 30th of April, Alan's going to steal the show because all the news is about him or involves him again. Firstly, he sleeps in the posh coop with the hens now. As soon as the weather started warming up, he got attacked by red mites in his coop. In the hen house, he sleeps in his own walled-off chamber, which used to be Mabel's room. So now he waits for me to put him to bed every night after a quick cuddle. Wilma and Mabel have worked out a system where they take it in turns to sleep in Wilma's room. Alan's crowing is cute when he does it once, okay when he does it twice, but annoying if he does it a third time, and more annoying more times after 3 that he does it. All the neighbours are fine with it. They either can't hear him or they like the noise because it reminds them of the farm they grew up on, except for one guy. He comes banging on my door at 7:20 on a Saturday morning, moaning exasperated as if he's complained before, when really this is the first time anyone has ever complained about Alan's noise. He's a feckless racist moron, so I was tempted to let Alan carry on disturbing him. But really, I need to put my animal's safety from threats before petty revenge, so I did. I told the neighbour that I was already building a morning holding pen for Alan in the garage because I anticipated his morning noise would disturb... I anticipated his morning noise disturbing people in summer when Alan gets up early and people have their windows open. Which was 100% true. Also told him he was the only one complaining. So from that morning, I used a temporary pen made from the one the chickens stay in when they're so sick that they're staying in the house. A week later, I finished the proper holding pen where Alan gets to have morning me time and eat food without getting muscled off by the hens. He seems to like it in there, which is just as well because he's going to be in there whether he likes it or not. He gets a cuddle as I carry him in there at least. Though when I first started doing it, upon releasing him from the pen in the late morning, he would chase me up the garden path with his wings out in an aggressive stance. Look for a video of male ostriches charging, to see a very similar gesture. He never caught up to me because my casual walking is faster than his running because his legs are so small. Third day in a row of this showed a pattern of behaviour, so I let him catch up to me, and just as he was about to bite and claw me, I turned around and gave him a big telling off for daring to challenge and disrespect me, pinning him down with one hand and pecking him with a finger on the other to simulate how a dominant chicken tells off a lower ranking one. He hasn't done it since. He still follows me when let him out, but his body language is friendly now. He knows I can give food and protection if he's a good boy. In other news, that rat came back and brought 5 bastard kids with her. I've started trapping them. Humane traps that don't hurt them. When I caught the first juvenile, the hens were very interested in gawping at the trapped rat, which screamed a lot. I showed it to Alan because I want him to put his cockerel aggression to some actual use and chase rats away. But the little wuss was scared. Perfectly fine attacking me, a creature over 40 times his mass, but not a little rat that he could probably eat if he tried. I left him with a caged rat for half an hour while I did some work, and he did start studying it once he worked out it couldn't hurt him. Then I took the rat away and banished it into exile, released it a couple of miles away in a national park. Next day I caught 2 of its siblings. The second was relatively quiet and well behaved. It too was banished into exile. The first one was super quiet because it was dead. It didn't starve or anything, could not have been in there longer than 4 hours, and the bait provided plenty of food, so I guess it had either eaten poison before getting trapped or it died of a panic attack or something.
Oh.
No trap is 100% humane. Oh well, it died because it was weak. Oh, is this Apocalypse? Survival of the fittest? We've been watching X-Men again. The mother and 2 of her kids remain at large. I had the opportunity to kill the remaining juveniles today as I found them hiding under a stone. Stood there thinking I couldn't see them, but I declined it. They're just trying to survive after all. Back to Alan, he hasn't got all Harvey Weinstein lately. What does happen is when all the chickens are competing for food, Alan will sometimes bite one of them on the feathers because he's getting outcompeted and mad about it. That happens most often in evening supper. He normally bites Mabel as she's the smallest, least aggressive, and she also pisses Alan off with this a lot by stealing food that I do put out especially for him to eat, as he can't yet use the feeder, and scattering food everywhere makes more sense. Make even more rats come. I gave him a box of pellets or whatever on the patio, and he'll make happy noises, and then the hens will hear it and come running up the stairs just to take some from him, with Mabel doing it the most. Perhaps Mabel resents Alan having her old bedroom. Though Betty is a close second, even though they already have the exact same food in the aviary. It's a power play. I don't mind a bit of that. Alan does need to be put in his place constantly, but not letting him eat enough breaks rule number 1. No harming other chickens. And if I try to protect Alan from the hens, he gets all white knight on me and goes, "Leave her alone." And then I have to be like, "I'm protecting you, you daft bastard, so you can eat, and don't you dare tell me how to treat my hens. They're mine, not yours. You just live with them." And then sometimes the hens will join in, like, "Don't talk to your dad like that, you pompous little shit." And I'll have to be all, "Thank you, but I can fight my own battles. I got this. Stand down." Alan did bite Betty once during one of those super feedings. He didn't react at the time. She didn't react at the time, kept her focus on the food. But for the next 2 days, she kept beating him up, so I think she noticed. He hasn't done it again. He has also never bitten Wilma. She'd absolutely deck him, and he knows it. Wilma still has groggy days on the hormones, and he said pheromones then for some reason. It sucks, but it's better than the peritonitis she'd get without them. Other times she's fine. Betty and Mabel both had a day off egg laying just over a week ago, thank goodness. I still want them to take more days off, though. The chickens are definitely all enjoying the milder climate that comes with the end of winter. And that is your chicken update for the week.
Love.
So,
Love. I am I was enjoying the weather until last night.
oh yeah, it was pretty warm, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Next, we have Lower Lucas Jr., who says, "Clayface away! It's totally Schway coming your way on a weekday Monday. Here's hoping Mary's feeling better today."
Yeah. Should I elaborate on that a little bit?
No, go ahead.
So I think I've briefly spoken about I have a chronic illness. Well, it is a chronic illness that has something else that makes it worse. But when I get sick, it's usually for longer periods of time, and it's quite intense. But I have learned to ignore it for the most part, um, like on a daily basis. But last week it was just a bit too much, and it doesn't normally happen on like Sundays, because usually Saturdays is like obviously ultimate rest day or whatever. But I I have something called psoriasis, but I also have the chronic uh psoriatic arthritis, and it really affects like my daily life, but not as bad as some people. So if I ever just randomly get sick, it's probably because of that. So I apologize in advance, because I've been told to listen to myself a bit more, and yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. There's more to it than that, but I don't feel comfortable talking about all of that on the internet.
Hmm. So to continue Lower Lucas Jr.'s comment, he says, "Hey, you're all glad to hear Mary's getting some rest. That gal deserves it. Hope she drank plenty of water and got cuddles from the fur babies with the goddamn Luke man."
You know what? I did get cuddles with the fur babies, even the fur babies that don't usually cuddle me in the daytime. And I drank like 80 ounces of water, at least. It
Hmm.
was 2 Stanleys full.
I've got some great news. Got my second issue published, and I'll try to make a post sharing how you can get a copy for $10. I can share a link on your channel too, Luke and Mary, if that's okay, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Just happy to get it out in time, as I spent a lot of time on those panels to make them look all nice and pretty. Now on to the Darkest Justice League episode. Well, where do we begin? There's the evil god the Thanagarians worshipped that Grundy beat down. Yes, what was that, Icthulu? I
Mm.
believe it was Icthulu. There's Dr. Destiny killing his cheating wife, just about any Grundy episode, star-crossed, or just seeing our sweet little Ace's final moments. All I know is Justice League got you in the feels, and though it aired on Cartoon Network, there were many moments that truly made you feel for the characters. They were just great written, voice-acted visuals, typical lightning in a bottle with this crew. Truly a great moment to be alive and enjoy it all. Well then, my duckies, it's that time again, and I'm off to enjoy Free Comic Book Day this Saturday. Till then, TTFN, ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now.
Right, next we have Big Mikey P.
Michael B.
This had to be released while I was in bedtime. Back to totally Schway boyos and mimsies. Justice for Cole Thomas Allen, though. Why must fate be against the good guys lately? I don't think Hawkgirl's undercover agenda is dark for me. CIA, MI6, Mossad agency, Shadow Ops are not too dark and damnable a topic for me. They're just necessary actions and business to keep the world going around. Meanwhile, I do pity the fact that the obviously less moral Gordadians won the war against the otherwise grey moral Thanagarians. That reminds me too much of how the Red Russians won against the Whites back on the end of World War One, let alone how Mao Zedong won against Chiang Kai-shek. In short, I'm getting so tired and teeth grinding on why the CIA and Allied interventions against rogue nations get demonized too many times, while the ingrates, blah blah blah, I'm not naming any particular countries, get too much sympathy, and in the meantime, peace means nothing if strife will never give it a yin yang balance act. So as to fight off entropy and overcomplacency, for that wholeheartedly disagree with Mary. Well, that is your right, but yeah.
It's good to have friends that disagree sometimes, but I can't remember exactly what I said. Um, but I'm sure I still stand 10 toes to the floor with it.
Mm-hmm. The Ophidians aren't that dark to me either. They're usual comic book ancient evil, fare akin to Mondays. Yeah, I was making a joke, Big Mikey P, because the lights went out, and that's why I said it was dark. Although it was kind of dark with their race getting annihilated. But anyway, doesn't matter. If you have to explain a joke, it's not funny.
Every time Ophidians are mentioned, I don't know why, but I just think of like a history teacher or something with that name.
Hmm. Now Amazo, his overpoweredness, and how Lex Luthor toys with him. Yeah, that is dark, true. Dr. Destiny, we have no arguments with. His two-parter sure broke the camel's back when it comes to how dark the DCAU can go. Didn't expect Solomon Grundy to be here, but in hindsight, yeah, he really does count, poor bird nose. If I'm going to have an honourable mention, there's that time travel episode of Static Shock featuring Virgil Hawkins' mom and the girl who had to change history and thus erase herself to do a slightly better future. Book recap. Still the sum of all fears, but have already finished Roger Stern's Death of Superman novelisation. Shall I be bold to say that that it's more improved than the comic book saga? Anyhow, Greg Rooker's Batman No Man's Land will follow at a later date. Also done with The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. It and Tom Sawyer, understandably, are still classics, although the protagonists are dumber than protagonists now, not to mention how Sawyer hijacks the plot of Huckleberry Finn at the book's end. As for 2001 A Space Odyssey, 'tis done now for 2010 Odyssey 2. For whatever whimsical fancy, have also started rereading The Last Unicorn, particularly in edition with sequel tale Two Hearts included. Sequel novella Suze may follow. Per a friend's bet, started reading Tender is the Night after an uncounted number of years. Not my style of story, but can see why people prefer it over The Great Gatsby, for it has its fair share of surprises. For comics, really? What is this, 1820? Finished reading Batman The Long Halloween, Batman Dark Victory, Catwoman Run in Rome, Superman Birthright for the first time, the hype-worthy Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and Superman's Secret Identity. Now at All-Star Superman with What's So Funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way, and Superman smashes the Klan soon. And speaking of Supergirl, a friend close gave me I misread this. And speaking of Supergirl, a friend also gave me a Tom King standalone collection featuring Batman and Elmer Fudd, Superman Up in the Sky, Mr. Miracle, and the Omega Men. The End Is Here. Heard they're among the writer's best works, so I'll try reading them for the first time in eventuality. Yeah, the Elmer Fudd comic is actually really good. Series recap. Accomplished seeing the final episodes 11 and 12 of Puella Magica, so hopefully I'll never have to say that again, alongside the accompaniment Eternal compilation film. Rewatching the Rebellion movie will have to wait, and in the meantime we'll see to the 2 canon drama CDs. Rewatch the Aria Blue Curtain Call trilogy's first and last parts, the Avenir and Crepuscolo. Next would be the final part of Benedizione. Oh, hang on. No, it doesn't matter. The final part of Benedizione. Sort of Heidi Girl of the Alps, episode 31. Well, have finally finished rewatching season 13 of Dot. Next will be season 14 anthology and also the ongoing spiritual successor Crash by Boomerang. Started a daily rewatch of Fleischer's Superman theatrical shorts, now past $1 billion limited. Movie recap. Saw to Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, 2010, The Year We Make Contact shall follow. Saw to DC Showcase animated shorts Catwoman and Superman Shazam 2. Have decided to try watching Dick Donner's Superman duology, basically the first movie and the Dick Donner cut of Superman 2 soon. Quite a bunch of movie trailers released in the last couple of weeks. Godzilla minus zero interests the most, but I wonder how and why the creature seems to be at New York, apart from being the 1998 film all over again. Neutral on Clayface and Coyote versus Acme, they'll be on the wait-and-see parameters. If anyone asks, no, haven't seen the leaked Avatar The Last Airbender sequel movie, not because of apathy, mind. The Kyle Rayner introductory episode next. Guess it'll be a while before Luke and Mary talk about DC or Justice League, The New Frontier. Yeah, I don't know when we will.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, isn't it?
Yeah, you did really like it.
I just feel like it's one of those things where I love it so much, and it is one of my favorites, but I just don't. It's one of those things I want to keep to myself because I it's so pure in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do.
But I might talk about it one day. Who knows?
Yeah, and New Frontier is as the distinction of being a DC comic book that Alan Moore likes. Alan Moore famously fell out with DC after they basically have been withholding the rights to Watchmen and V for Vendetta from him. And they ended up buying a comic book company that was publishing some of his work just so they could get his hands on more of his material. And rather than resign and leave his collaborators out of a job, he said, all right, we'll finish up the series, but after that, I am never doing anything for DC again. But at the time, DC was sending him complimentary copies of their work, and he got really mad about it. And he ended up contacting his editor. He said, tell those bastards at DC to stop sending me their crap. Apart from this New Frontier, this is very good. Please keep sending that. This was when New Frontier had just come out. So there we go. Right, next we have Ryan Jones, who says, hello, Luke and Mary, I'm glad you're feeling better. My darkest Justice League moments are the Justice Lords. As a whole, yeah, I can agree. And when Vandal Savage went back in time making the Nazis win World War II, aka the darkest timeline. Hey, the Clayface movie is definitely going to have some inspiration from the which celebrities use plastic surgery, which I don't get why. They are ruining their face, and some of them overdo it, like Katie Price, for example. The trailer for Coyote versus Acme and I. Oh, I see. Okay, the trailer for Coyote versus Acme came out, and I'm excited for it, assuming it's coming to UK cinemas. I bet it will. Also, I'm excited for the new Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight game. Are you too? Mary's going to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would, but I don't really have a lot of time. Um,
I think I'm gonna take off work to play it.
oh, really going to have to get that holiday request in.
Well, I mean, I told him just recently, so.
I think it was just now. um, I'm almost done with my part one of my history of Pixar video that will either be out now or by the time when the comments flip side comes out. Cool. Share a link in the communities, and yeah, we'll watch it. Next, we have Doc Widener, who says, "Thank goodness you're here and feeling better. Looking forward to the Clayface trailer and enjoyed Luke's mashup short. Some other dark moments in no particular order. Aquaman cutting off his own hand. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Jon Stewart's genocide trial, though the Flash was as his attorney, and the Manhunter's attorney probably. Oh, thought the Manhunter. Oh my god, I cannot read. The problem is I'm reading like 3 lines at once. My brain goes too fast for my mouth to catch up. But anyway. Though the Flash as his attorney and the Manhunter's attorney problem fix was funny. Hereafter and the Dead Earth Superman found Vandal Savage in. The time loop they left Kronos and I presume his wife in. Yeah, that was pretty dark. Very mean. I had one uncle killed in the Pacific during World War II, and another who, like Luke's family member, was never the same. He was older than my mother, and she talked about how sweet he was before the war and then so different afterwards. Nice way to pass part of my Tuesday. Not much news to pass on this week in the full between winter and summer swimming. In the lull, excuse me. In the lull between winter and summer swimming. The boys were supposed to get haircuts Saturday, and our barber's mother passed away unexpectedly. Still way behind on Apple shows, currently on Maul, The Boys, Invincible, great story, season ended last week but animation had issues, and Daredevil. Maul's story is quite good, and this may be the prettiest Star Wars thing I've seen. I feel like there was an Oklahoma comment or joke in something I saw this week, but memory's failing at the moment. Have a good short week, you two.
You too.
Yes, you too, Doc. Thank you for your comment. Next we have Alexandra Fawkes, who says, "Hi, Luke and Mary. Good to know you're feeling better. For me, the most dark moments in Justice League were the Justice Lord's Arkham Asylum from A Better World. Not only that scene was turning point from the misguided hero's image the Justice Lords gave us, proving how far they have fallen, but it shows how the producers knew how to use darkness as part of a story rather than just for shock value. It's scary to see that Lord Superman lobotomized the Joker and the other Arkham inmates, but it also not hard to understand the reasons. We saw the problem the Batman rogues caused in BTAS, failing in every attempt to reform. If they couldn't change by themselves, is it really wrong that someone made them change and no longer be a threat to society? It perfectly embodies the moral dilemma of the episode through visual and storytelling rather than be shoved in people's faces just to remind them that the show is dark and mature, an attitude that more often makes the project come across as immature and obsess for attention. The scene between Flash and the Justice Lord's version of Poison Ivy, where she talks about how she no longer cares about plants or anything, might be one of the saddest fates the character suffered. She may no longer be a threat, but is now an empty shell, incapable of connecting with anything in life, which is a fate worse than death." I agree. Yes, thank you for your comment. So, who's next? We have RJ Productions, who says, "Hey, Luke and Mary, I hope Mary's feeling better than before. The darkest moment for me was when Superman seemingly died at the hands of Toyman, of all villains. Anyway, a few days ago I watched Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox, and spoilers for the ending. When Barry gave Bruce the letter from his father Thomas Wayne, who in the other timeline was Batman rather than his son, I got a bit emotional, especially when Bats himself got teary-eyed, mainly because Bruce was voiced by the late Kevin Conroy, who helped to create the humanity within The Dark Knight. I've heard that Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2 is meant to be quite emotional, and if at the start or end of the film we get a message saying, 'In loving memory of Kevin Conroy,' I don't think I'll be able to keep it together, lol." What? Interesting positioning for that, lol. Have a great week, UT.
You too.
Edit. If you ever talk about the funniest moments of JLAS, you should include the ending of the Amazo episode where Amazo makes Lex his bitch, stripping him from his tech suit and leaving him in his underwear, lol. Bro figuratively made his technical father call him daddy, lol. P.S. I've updated my Lex Luthor Mercy Graves fanfic on Wattpad. Cool.
Could be.
Yes, thank you for your comment, Harry. Yes, so on to the last comment, and that is from David Carney, who says, "Hi, Mary and Luke. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Loved the Clayface teaser trailer. I get David Cronenberg The Fly vibes from it, and with Mike Flanagan writing it, can't wait to see it. There's a lot of dark moments in Justice League, but there are light moments too. Have a great week, both."
You too.
Yeah, you too, David. Thank you very much for your comment, as ever. And that's all of the comments. We're done.
Yeah. So catch us next week when we do a little bit of S-Task stuff. And I am not going to ramble too much because I have a date. Well, I'm going out with one of my girlfriends to see The Devil Wears Prada 2 for the second time.
Yeah, I already took her to see it once. It was fine. It was enjoyable enough.
I really liked it. It was very, like, I'm going to talk about this for a second. I loved the fact that it wasn't the same movie, but just in a different time. It was a completely, I mean, it had kind of like the same premise, if you will, but it's it's grown up, a bit more grown up, and I really felt the 2020s of it all.
Yes, there was character growth and progression and
Yeah.
development. And things were revealed about these characters that you didn't think would be. You're like, oh, that's nice. I did note, however, that when we went to see it in the cinema, the other partners that were along with their spouses watching the movie spent most of the time on their phone, which was very distracting and irritating. And my God, if you're spending, 10, 15 quid coming to see a movie, watch the damn thing. Don't sit there on your phone.
Luke was saying, I think it was like the day before, it might have been on the day, like, oh, you've sat through movies that you haven't liked with me. And I was trying to think of which ones you're talking about, because if I don't want to go see a movie, I don't go see it.
Yeah, she was saying I didn't have to go and watch it with her. She'd go see it by herself. And I was like, no, you don't need to go and see it by yourself. I'll go with you. It's fine.
But the place that we went to, I will never go again. Not because it was a really lovely, like the people there were lovely, but it's just the town that it's in. To get in and out of that town is, I nearly had a panic attack because of the how small these roads were,
Yeah.
which usually isn't that big of a deal. But when you have like moving vans and like semis and stuff like that, I don't actually there was a semi, wasn't there?
No, there wasn't a semi going down there. They were too big.
Miniature semi called the,
Just a van.
yeah, just the it still has the cab, but it's like a smaller
We should
van.
clarify that there's roadworks and they closed off the road into the
Yeah.
town. So we had to go through the little country lanes around the side. Now, if you know anything about English countryside lanes, there's barely enough room for one car to get through.
Mhm.
Never mind when they're funneling two lanes of traffic going in opposite directions
And
down
it
them.
quite an important lane too.
Yeah, it's
Important road.
it's not designed to have that kind of traffic going down there, and it was very stressful and frustrating and irritating. I ended up driving about 5-10 miles around town to avoid the country lanes, and still ended up having to go down one. But at least they weren't funneling all of the traffic down this one because it was so far out.
You've got to, so I don't like the city where we live. And we will eventually move out of this place when we buy a new place. But it has got to say something about the town if I am looking forward to going back to the town that I live in.
Yeah.
Like it's that it was that painful.
Yes.
Again, not because of the people, it was because of the town itself.
And I swear, every time we go there, the town has got some sort of major construction work going on the roads that's just completely disrupted everything.
And it's not one of those places that you have to go through it to get to one of the motorways, because you could go around and get to the motorway, or you could stay on the motorway and just bypass the town completely. But it's, oh God.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. And then there was an accident on the M25. For anyone that doesn't know British roads, the M25 is like the main motorway that circles all of London. But there was an accident on there, and it took us, 45 minutes to go about 3 miles,
Mhm.
something like that. Just gradually crawling along.
And I don't like that there are things that I don't like about I don't drive here in England, but there are things that I just hate about other drivers. One, I used to work at quite a popular shopping center. For some reason, when you get within a mile of that place, people just forget the laws of the road. They forget how to drive, and there are people that just drive as if like there's snow on the road all of the time, even in the middle of the summer. And then you have the stupid boy racers that will go there and they will be like, going vroom vroom on cars that they shouldn't vroom vroom on because it's really like, mate, come on. Uh, Mind you, I there were times where I didn't get home until after midnight,
Mhm.
and I had to deal with some of these people when I worked at
Doing donuts in the car park.
yeah, because I used to work at Lush, and the way we got out of the shop was through the back, and that's where a lot of the like races would be, and they're so incredibly stupid. Like, don't race in a parking garage. Like, don't. And please, like, if you've got your like 1983 uh
Ford Fiesta.
yeah, Ford Fiesta, and then like it's only making noise because like you've needed a new muffler for 40 years. It's not because you have like a kick-ass like NOS system or something like that, because that would be a bit different. But they don't. They just, yeah. And the amount of times I've seen people around 11:30 just broken down, and then they won't call anybody other than their other buddies because they know they'll get a penalty if they do. Like if they called an AA for that, because their cars are not uh roadworthy.
Mhm.
That's one of my problems.
So next time we're going to be talking about Superman the Animated Series Blackest Night, which introduced and then said Hal Jordan, then it's Kyle Rayner as Green
Yeah.
Lantern, and we don't see him again after this episode. Spoilers.
Played by Kyle Chandler, right?
No,
In the new
that's Hal
one.
Jordan.
Wait, Kyle Chandler is gonna play Hal Jordan
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the Lanterns movie
TV show.
or TV. You know what I meant?
Yeah,
I did. Oh, why do I keep getting? It's every single time.
and it's coming out in the middle of August. I think they said the 17th of August. So we'll watch that.
That is gonna be good because I really like Kyle Chandler.
Hmm.
I really do.
He's
He's
in
great.
he's in the Godzilla movies, isn't he?
Yeah, he was also in Grey's Anatomy. If y'all know about the bomb, and he gets I'm spoiler alert. He gets blown up.
Oh no! So how is he in Green Lantern if he got blown up, Mary? Someone explain this to me.
I think there was a Netflix show. Was it Blood something? Bloodline. I think that was him, and he was good in it. Never
Okay,
finished it though.
perfect. Well, that's the note we're ending on.
All right, love you guys. Wear sunscreen, drink water, and don't forget, eat something green.